So we're going to go to Starbucks here.
I'm buying. Yeah, could I have a venti chai latte, non-fat please, and extra hot?
I'll have a medium one of those.
Okay.
That'd be a grande.
That's a grande.
Yeah, that's Starbucks talk.
It's like amateur hour.
Here you go. You have to wave that thing right there or hand it to him.
Hey, 12.
There you go. Thanks, Coach.
To my friends, I call that OTH, which is on the house.
Venti?
That must be the large, the venti.
The venti?
Starbucks
Yeah.
The grande?
So it's tall, grande,
All right.
venti.
And that's everything, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
We are on our way to pick up Gary Pinkel, who's one of the winningest coaches in college football history. He's the winningest coach at two different schools, Toledo and Missouri. The interesting thing about Missouri, before he got there, they'd gone 17 seasons and only enjoyed 2 winning seasons. 4 years after he got there, it took that long to build the culture. They started rolling, and he went to 10 bowl games in 12 years. They won 5 divisions, the Big 12 North 3 times before moving over to the SEC and winning the Eastern Division twice. He's now retired, and he's coming in to speak to the Touchdown Club. We're going to see what we can learn while we're in the car with Coach Pinkel.
That's what people ask, what are you doing? What are you doing? The first thing I tell them is I get to do anything I want to do. Being a coach didn't define me. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Really?
I love being called coach. I love my players. I loved it all the time, my guys. You know, even after I kicked the rear end, or love them and hug them and make them better people and that kind of thing. I loved it. I miss that more than anything. When you get away from it, you look at the time and the commitment and every minute of the day. And guess what? The switch was never off, because you always have some problems with players going on. So you know, I did more problem solving at 3 o'clock in the morning my whole life in career as head football coach than I did. You know, that's just the life you live.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody asked you about Saban because he's had so much success. You know, was he like that when he
wrote the foreword in my book. When I read the thing, I got like tears in my eyes a little bit, because you know, with things he said in the foreword were things he never looked in my face and never said to me before. He talked about how he kind of idolized me, you know, and how I lived, how I trained, and I'm reading this thing going, wow, what the heck? You know, one of the defining moments for me when I became head coach at Toledo, I go into Coach James' office and I say goodbye to him, give him a hug. You know, I walked out, then I walked back in. I said, I have no idea why I walked back in and said, do you have any words of advice? Kind of with a smile on my face. And he says, yeah, I do, Gary, I do. He says, looks at me and says, when things get tough, he said, they're going to get really tough. He flat out just looked at me, and they're going to get really tough. You come in to work and you focus every hour on doing your job. You don't let anything outside affect the job that you're doing operationally every hour to make sure that you're working to make yourself better. He said, because if you don't do that, it'll chew you up. That was the best advice I was ever given, ever.
What kind of advice do you give parents in sports?
As a parent, I think you have to, first of all, you want your kids to have fun, okay? And for you to critique them on top of the coaches is not very wise, in my opinion. I also let the kids get coached and stay out of it. Stay away from it.